Hi, I'm Dee. We're going to do a pick-a-card reading on what your blockages are in love. We're talking about self-love, romantic love, friendship, any ways that you're blocked in giving and receiving love. Timestamps are below if you already know your pile. And if you enjoy tarot content, be sure to subscribe. Thank you to the beautiful souls who are already subscribed. Y'all are amazing. So, these will be collective messages. Take what resonates and leave what doesn't. To help you choose a pile, you can close your eyes, shake out your hands, get all that tension out, wiggle your toes, and take a nice, deep breath. Now, from a centered place, set the intention to allow your intuition to choose a pile for you. Open your eyes and allow yourself to be drawn to a pile. Here's pile 1 with transformation. Pile 2, work of art. And pile 3, return to joy. So again, the timestamps for your pile are in the description below, and I will see you there. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. We are going to look at this top card first. It is your ideal version of love. So for you, your deepest understanding and deepest desires for love is to transform you and probably the world, and whoever else you're involved with. Love is a powerful force, and it can absolutely be used for transformation. So we'll keep that in mind as we go through the reading. This first card here is what you're going through right now with love. Responding, not reacting. This is giving me the impression that for some of you, at least, you're in a tense situation when it comes to love. There are those in your life who you wish love would flow more freely with. Maybe family members, good friends, partners. And there's triggering behavior in what is happening. You are triggered by the lack of love or the withholding of love or some kind of maybe even mind game, some kind of manipulation that maybe the other person isn't even aware of doing, but you are feeling triggered by it, and you're having to put a lot of work in to contain yourself and process your triggers and not act on your triggers. And when you do act on your triggers, you feel shame, and it's just this cycle that keeps repeating. And that is a very familiar cycle to a lot of people, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. So let's see a little bit more. We're going to look at what you've learned about love, and maybe that'll give some insight into that as well. Oh. Right, okay. All right. Well, it's very understandable that you are experiencing this right now. This triggering from lack of love, from heartbreak, from having people withhold their love. Conditional love, not unconditional, but dependent on what you do for the other person. It's a very unfortunate and very common dynamic, especially growing up in your family, in your household. These beliefs about love may not be surface level. You may understand that love is beautiful and powerful, and you may have even felt it before, truly and unconditionally, but your background, what you learned as a young child, keeps coming up to tell you, actually, love is a battlefield. Actually, love is used to manipulate you. Love is a struggle. You have to fight for it. You have to work hard to receive it. These are the conditioned beliefs that you still hold within your energetic body, within your subconscious. And it's making it very difficult for you to not be in this cycle where someone is unfulfilling to you and you have to work really hard to get scraps. I'm getting fired up because it's upsetting. It's not fair. It's not right. That's not how love flows. That's not what love is. It is not meant to hurt. It's not meant to control. It's meant to flow. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to be free. So I'm getting a little, so I'm getting righteous for you, pile one. Let's take a look at what you think you have to do for love. And that's right, you got 4 cards. What do you have to do for love? So we have the King of Cups. This is the role that you believe you have to play in order to receive love. Someone who's emotionally grounded and stable. Everyone else could be having breakdowns and drama fits, and you have to be the mature one. You have to be. Otherwise, you get flack for it. People are like, why are you being like that? Even though 2 seconds ago they were being exactly the same way. This is the space that you have carved out for yourself. This is the role you believe you have to play in order to earn love. And I say earn because we have the 7 of coins here. This is about putting in hard, frustrating work. This is about impatience. We have the 7 on top of the 7 of wands as well. Love has been a struggle for you, pile one. And my heart goes out to you. We've got the Chariot and the Page of Coins. You feel like you have to be ready at a moment's notice to provide for others. And if you are not there, if you are not on top of your game, then love is easily taken away. And that sucks. I hate that for you. I don't use the word hate lightly. I can see through this whole spread that there's no flow. There's only control. You feel like if I can just control myself better, if I cannot react to what they're saying, then somehow some love will trickle through to me. They will appreciate me. But the thing is that you're setting yourself up for failure with these beliefs. And again, these may be really subconscious. This might be a pattern playing out from childhood that you haven't fully grasped yet. So this could be, depending on who you are, this could be very subtly manifesting in your life, or it could be very, very obvious. There may also be some of you who are not necessarily trying to control themselves, but feel controlled by others. The desires and the wishes of others are covering up who you truly are, and they have for so long that it's hard for you to see who you truly are. When it comes to self-love, a lot of these same issues will come up, because if you're not seeing love represented outside of you in a healthy way, then it's so different. Like, how are you going to feel love for yourself if you haven't had that example set for you? So I can see, pile one, that likely a lot of you struggle with self-love, and that's totally understandable. And the last thing that you want to do is be hard on yourself for having a hard time loving yourself. So please avoid that. Try to be kind. But let's get into the advice. So what advice for pile one to overcome these blockages? Let's go one at a time. Let's keep it simple. Healing waters. Wow. Yes, pile one. There's nothing you need more than a really deep cleanse. Because all of this stuff, this was not your choice. The experience you had of love growing up was not your choice. Yet it sticks with you. So how do you get rid of something that you did not choose to hold on to? I got the message that maybe some of you are, in a way, choosing to hold on to some of this because there's an important figure in your life, maybe a parent or something like that, who you are still really, really wanting to gain approval from, and that's keeping you stuck here. And that's not something you have control over, whether that person grows up and learns how to show love to you in a healthy way. That's not under your control. So for some of you pile ones, I know it's tough and it's not something you can do immediately, but cleansing yourself of that need for approval from the specific people in your life. And maybe it's not about those specific people anymore. Maybe you're like, I'm over that. But there's still that craving for approval because it was not received in childhood. Some practical advice for purging: every day you interact with water. You wash your hands, you take a shower, you take a bath, you wash the dishes. Every time that you interact with water, remember this card, remember this message. You have things to cleanse, you have things to purge. So set the intention. Tell yourself, tell your guides, tell the universe that with this water washing over my body, my hands, the dishes, I am removing all blockages. I am removing all conditioning, all unhealthy conditioning about what love is. I am removing all of my insecurities. I'm removing the sense that I have no value, because inherently I do have value. That's a little bit of practical magic that you can do every day just to remind yourself and to get this purge going, because there's only so much you can say about it. You probably know a lot of these issues. You know who said what and when and how you felt and how it's affected you ever since. It's time to do some more intentional work with your energy, and that is what the healing waters are for. So let's look. The next card: for this you were born. Whoa, okay. All right. So Spirit is saying that this, what you've been through, your experience of love and how negative it's been and what you have experienced because of it, there's a reason. And it's not to say that you had to suffer, or that you have to continue to suffer. Suffering, all right, I'll tell them. Suffering is, in a sense, a choice. In every moment, you can choose to find something to enjoy or find something to feel suffering about. I don't know, really. That was just a freebie from the universe. I'm not sure where that falls in anywhere, but I hope it was helpful. The message in this card, though, is that you experienced this for a reason. There are people that you will help by healing yourself, and that's all you have to do. You will help the world by healing yourself. This card, I think, is to give you some courage here, because there's a lot of cleansing, there's a lot of purification, there's a lot of acceptance that needs to happen. And this card is telling you it's part of your journey for a reason. The last card here. Oh, I love her. So this is the secretary bird. Be rid of your enemies. This bird is fierce. Look at these long legs, okay? What she does with them is she tramples through the ground. She scares out any snakes. It's like this very venomous snake. And she stomps it. She stomps it until it stops being a problem for her. And she's very chill about it too. Which kind of brings me back to the energy of this card in its most positive flow. And the message that came from Spirit with this card about it being a choice to suffer or to enjoy. So Spirit is saying, yeah, you need to clear out this stuff. You do, and you can do it calmly and peaceably. You do not have to do it in a reactive way. If someone hurts your feelings, you don't have to say, okay, I cut them out of my life forever. Because some of you pile ones, with all of this trauma and pain, you might just shy away from the idea of love instinctively. But you don't have to be so extreme about it. You can just choose in that moment what you need. And it's tough if you're not used to being connected to yourself and your needs and your desires. But you can pay attention to your response to whatever happened. And you do not have to act on that response, but you do need to acknowledge it. Acknowledging it will let you know, okay, that made me feel bad. That made me feel bad and I don't like it. And what do I actually have the capacity to do in this moment? It won't be as direct as stomping your enemies, but you could do something very direct for you. You can leave. You can leave the room. You can say, thanks for your opinion. You can say anything. You can say this to yourself too when you're having this response, when you're like, oh my God, that person didn't respond to me, and now I don't know if they hate me or not. As an example, you can have that response and then say, thank you. Thank you, brain, for having that response. I understand that this is a difficult situation. This is a difficult topic. This is whatever the case may be. This brings up trauma, and that is a real thing happening in my body. And I do not have to act on it. I can choose to look for the good in this situation, to look for what I want in this situation, to make sure that I am acting in my best interest. Pile 1, I really feel like you need a revolution. And you did have the transformation card. I feel like you need a revolution in love. You need to see it in a different way. You need to see that it is a right for you to experience love. And if there are no people around you in your environment right now who can help you feel love in the true way, not in a conditional way, in a true way. If there's no people like that, then you have the power to do that for yourself. And pile 1s, I actually recommend that you start with you, because you have thought about other people for way too long. You have been a rock for others when no one has been a rock for you, and it's time for that to stop. It's time for that pattern to end. It'll take time. But you will start to feel the results of loving yourself immediately if you really sink into it. And you do it every day. I have to say, it really helps to do it every day. Just put your hand on your heart. Do something physical like that. Put your hand on your heart and say, I love myself. Or whatever it is that you know you need to hear. Because pile 1, you know what you need. You really do, even if it doesn't always feel like it. You do know what you need. So it's time to shed the past. Put in that practice of shedding the past, and put in the practice of embracing your love for yourself. Everything else will follow, I promise. So pile 1, I hope that helped. I hope that you have a wonderful day out there, and I hope that you love yourself today. Until next time, take care. Hello, pile 2. Let's take a look at your top card here to start us off. This is your ideal of love. So we have work of art. I'm getting the sense that for you, the ideal form of love, the ideal expression and outcome of love is very creative. You aim to feel and express love in order to bring beautiful things into this world. For some of you, pile 2, you may either be parents or you wish to bring life into this world. For others, it would be painting and writing and poetry and music, storytelling, anything that lights up the world and makes it a more beautiful and enjoyable place. That is the truest expression. That's the final outcome of love for you. And that's really beautiful. I love that. All right, on to the blockages. So with this card, we are answering what you are going through right now with love. Wow. Okay. All right, pile 2. So you are going through a transformation. Your relationship to love is transforming. You may also be experiencing love, and that is transforming you. But I'm really strongly getting that your experience of love, your expectations of love, and your ability to give and receive love is currently in a moment of transformation. It is in flux. That's pretty cool. So let's look at what you've learned about love. What are we transforming? What have you learned about love? 4 of Swords, Page of Pentacles, and Knight of Wands. Kind of feels like you've been sleeping on love. That's so interesting. We have Sleeping Beauty here in the 4 of Swords. And there's been a patience. There has been a waiting. Maybe pile 2, you weren't sure that love was available for you. In the traditional sense, we've got the Page of Coins, we've got the Knight of Wands. These are representing people. These are figures in your life, possibly in your subconscious too, but it feels like you never thought you could receive love in the way that you wanted it from people. Maybe you love animals, you turn to animals or nature. Maybe you turn to your creative gifts. Maybe you just gave up on it. You're like, that's all right. I can sacrifice that. You've learned that you have to be very prudent with what love you do receive. I see you being someone who may have only a few close relationships, but you maintain them with integrity. You check in on them, you think about those people. They are important to you. That's really beautiful. I see a loyalty in you. And the Knight of Wands is quite interesting. You may have experienced difficult things in love in the past. And it might have been because your passions led you astray, to put it kind of stereotypically. Your passions may have led you astray, may have led you to people who were not good for you, or situations that were unhealthy for you. And that might have scared you off and made you decide, this is not for me. I'm not into this. You may have also been scared off by the passions of others. You may have had people who were too pushy, who were not in it for love, who just wanted to own you in some way. And that would scare anyone off, to be fair. So it's totally understandable, your perception of love. You may have had parents who were quite different from each other and they didn't really get along. That may have also contributed to the fact that you didn't have love as a priority. You didn't think that that was something that you really needed to focus on in your life. And this can apply to friendships, it can apply to partnerships, it can apply to family. You are someone who settles for less, is the sense that I'm getting. Based on your background and your experiences of love, it's totally understandable. So let's look at what you think you have to do for love. Pile 2. Oh, the World, Strength, and 5 of Swords. Oh, wow. So when you love fully and deeply. I was picking up on a loyal vibe here with the Page of Coins, and I am seeing it fully here. You believe that if you fall in love, let's say romantically, that's the one. That's the one, and no matter what happens, you need to make that work. If you are ready to commit, you are committing 100%. And that's admirable. That is admirable. I can see how it would hold you back from experiencing love and experimenting and stuff like that, but maybe that's something that's not important to you. I do see sacrifices here. I see maybe you feel like you have to be the stronger one in any kind of relationship, friendship, family, partnership. You feel like you have to be the strong one to contain yourself and to take the hits when necessary. When there's an argument, you may be the first to fold. Kind of getting Libra vibes. I'm not sure if that applies to everyone, but there's a need to keep the peace. There's a need for unity and harmony here in your relationships, in love. If it goes off, if it goes wrong, it upsets your whole world. And so you're very cautious about who you give your heart to, who you open your heart to. I'm not sure you have given your heart to anyone, actually. It's possible. You feel like you have to move mountains for people. You have to make sacrifices for others. And that can also hold you back from finding love in life. Because if you connect sacrifice with love that deeply, to love is to sacrifice, it's not very appealing. You really would only want to do that for a few people. I'm starting to get a little bit of advice coming through here, even though we haven't pulled those cards yet. But something to know about that is you can have more shallow relationships. It may not be appealing to you at the moment, but consider it, because shallow relationships, in the sense that, you know, you're not going to drop everything and run to this person. You might say, oh, that sucks, but you're not going to sacrifice yourself to help them and save them from whatever predicament. Shallow relationships can teach you what you do and you don't like. Shallow relationships can help you build stronger boundaries. They can be a practice run for when things are really important, when it matters to you. So that's a little piece of advice that I thought was interesting from Spirit. Let's take a look at your advice cards. First, ooh, so pile 2, I'm getting the sense of a little stagnation here. You may be feeling like, you know what, maybe my relationships aren't ideal, maybe they're not fully fulfilling to me, and I could be receiving love in a more productive way for me, but I can deal with it. I'm not going to force things. I'm not going to go out of my way to try to find people. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Whether that's low key or high key, that's up to you. But there's a sense in your energy that you are trapped and that this is just how life is, you know? Maybe you have this almost like victim mentality in a sense that things just don't work out for you. Love is just not for you in that way. But you're here and you're watching a pick a card about love. So part of you definitely wants love in your life in whatever form. This could be friendship. This could be family. This could be romance. Everyone flourishes under the influence of true divine love. Unconditional, beautiful, free-flowing love. Everyone flourishes, including you, and everyone has the ability to access that love, including you. I feel, pile 2, that you need to believe that. You need to ditch the old shell, the old masks, the old costumes that you wear that say, oh, don't mind me, I'm just over here, I don't need that love, it's okay. because you are a beautiful soul. You have a wonderful desire to create, and you are in the middle of a transformation here. What will speed up your transformation? Just telling yourself you can do it. Sometimes it's as simple as that. So I recommend daily affirmations. Write them yourself is what I would suggest. Write down a list of all the things that you believe you cannot have. Or if it's easier, you can write a list of all the things you want. But sometimes it's easier to start with the negative, with what you don't have. And then right beside it, write a list of affirmations. You don't have to say them all every day, but say a few and say them often. Find the ones that you really feel like, wow, I don't think that's possible, and say those the most. This is about transforming your idea of what is possible for you. Let's look at the next card. Ally in disguise. Oh. So pile 2, this might feel like a lot of work to transform your idea, your subconscious beliefs about whether or not you deserve love, whether or not you can have or find love. This shadow self that you are working on transforming, I get the sense that maybe you are at odds with them, with that part of you that's like, actually, it's easier to just give up and not search for love, actually. I don't want to do that. It's too hard, it's too painful, it's disappointing. Forget it, I don't need it. That shadow side of you, a conversation needs to be had with that part of you. And it's not to grill them or interview them or ask them, why do you think that way? Who told you? And how do I change your mind? It's actually just to say, hi, I love you. Actually, you already have love because I love you. It's as simple and complex as that. It's a matter of actually feeling it. If you don't feel it, just say it. Just say it until you feel it. But try to feel it. Put your hand on your heart and just try to feel love for that part of you that so easily gives up on you and on love for you. Just love them. That feels like it will unlock a huge transformation. Like I said, you're already in the middle of it. You're already there. Oh, and we have the blue tip. Find your voice and free your spirit. Yes. So that's tying back into this creativity. I get the sense that for a lot of you pile 2s, you might have creative blocks. And no wonder. Love is your fuel. Love is the food of your creativity, and you're starving yourself of it. But again, feel compassion for that part of you that was so strong. Again, we have strength. So strong that you could withstand starvation. Creative and energetic starvation. That's power to keep going, even though you know you don't have what you need. That's power. So show them love. And maybe sing, maybe dance, do something creative for fun, for you. That's another way of showing yourself love. Know that this transformation, this process, this work that you're doing, it might not always feel like you have time or energy for it. And it's so easy to just be like, you know what, forget it. I was fine before. I don't need this. It's fine. But that's you running away from your desires. That's you denying the fact that you need and want this. It's hard, but it's much more in positive energy flow to accept that your needs are not being fulfilled right now and not turn a blind eye to it. To just look at it and accept that 1, you have these needs, and 2, they're not being fulfilled, and maybe 3, you're getting in your own way with fulfilling them. 4, you have love already for yourself. When you allow love to flow through you, it's a magnet. It attracts more love real love. And that's all you have to do. Allow love to flow through you. If you have a difficult time accepting love from others, it may be a great time to practice that. But as you're in the middle of a transformation, I would say stay within. Stay within until you feel strong enough. Until you're like, you know what? I'm going to try and accept love. And even if I fail, I know I will still love myself. So best of luck, pile 2, with your transformation. I'm very excited for you. It looks like there are beautiful things on the way. And I will see you next time. Take care. Hello, pile 3. Let's take a look at your cards. So the one on top is your ideal of love. We've got return to joy. Aww. We are here to experience joy. Isn't that so true? It's so true. All right, so for you, love is, it's like spiritual for you. It's like a connection to source, to spirit, to everything. That's how you feel your soul. It feels very important to you. That's really nice. I like that. All right, so this next card is what you're going through right now with love. Oh, okay. So we have wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. Pile 3. I feel your energy. It's so positive and optimistic and beautiful and loving and kind and self-sacrificing. And maybe a little touch of magical thinking. Like, if I just love this person a bit more, if I just show them some more kindness, they will reflect that back to me. And if you think about law of attraction, in theory, it sounds about right. If you project something outward, you will get it in return. But what you're doing, pile 3, is being very, you're chained to a particular outcome, to a particular person, to someone being more healed than they are. A common mistake in the law of attraction and manifesting is to be so specific about what you want that it leaves no room for the universe to work. And the universe just says, well, you're fixating on this relationship that's not working, so let's give you more of that. Let's give you more of the relationship that's not working. That is the cycle that you're stuck in right now. And I feel for you. That does not look comfortable. So let's take a look. We're going to dig a little deeper. Let's take a look at what you learned about love. Knight of Cups. Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune. Interesting. And the King of Wands. All right. So pile 3, you are a very people-oriented person. Even if you keep yourself to yourself, you have love for humanity. And you care what other people think. You care that you come across as someone who is kind and compassionate and loving, no matter what happens to you because of it. Oof. That one hit me. That one hit me hard. There's possibly, in your childhood, there were figures of authority who were very difficult to connect with on a love frequency. And I think you know what I mean by that, pile 3. On a frequency of joy. That feeling of, forget everything that's happened. We may have had arguments, we may disagree, but we are human, we are beautiful, and we can just celebrate that together right now. That's the vibe I'm getting for you, and it's so beautiful. And yet, not everyone's going to respond to that, and I feel like you're you're stuck there. You're stuck on trying to transform the people around you by being a beautiful soul. But all that's happening is you're stuck in this cycle of being used. And your current actions are not getting you out of that right now. You may have also learned that love is fickle. Love comes and goes, and so do people. And in a sense, that has made you more worldly and wise. And in another sense, it has made you want to cling to people even harder. That's a tricky one. But pile 3, I really feel like you're stuck in a cycle here. We've got 2 wheels. The wheels just keep turning and it keeps hurting you. So let's look at maybe why you feel you need to be stuck in this wheel. These cards represent what you feel you have to give in order to receive love. What you have to do in order to be loved. Interesting. The Knight of Coins. 10 of Cups. Okay, yeah. The Magician. Wow. So, especially, it's very interesting that Knight of Coins came out right under the Knight of Cups. This Knight of Cups, it feels like it represents you in a way. It's a beautiful, soulful, open, honest, loving, creative, passionate energy. Very much someone in their emotions. Ooh, and just a little piece of advice coming through. It could be the reason that you're stuck on this wheel is that you are stuck in your emotions. Emotions are a result of thoughts. They are hormones that flood through your body and make you feel certain ways. That is what emotions are. They are a reaction. So if you are always living in your reactions, it's going to be very difficult to break a pattern because you just follow one reaction to the next and then you end up right at the start again. So a little piece of advice for you right off the bat here, pile 3, is to become aware of your emotions. You probably are pretty aware already, but in that moment, when the emotion comes up to say, for instance, let's go with this fear of losing people. If you have a sudden fear, oh, that person's leaving me, for instance. That person didn't respond to my text, so I'm afraid that they hate me and they're going to leave me. Just as an example. So, in that moment, what did I say? I said, I'm afraid. Okay, so that's the emotion. I am afraid. Take a moment to think, does my fear change reality? Does my fear change whether this person will stay with me or not? Does my fear do anything productive for me in this moment? Most likely the answer is no. There is nothing you can do in this moment in order to influence someone else. So, what do you have left? You have your life, you have your body, you have your desires, your needs, you have everything else. Pile 3, it's a matter of taking your focus off of others and not letting them be your world anymore. So a really quick thing you can do, you don't have to go through that whole conversation with yourself every time. You can just say, oh, I notice that I am feeling fear. Fear is an emotion. It is not the same as truth. And then move from there. All right, back to these cards. So with the Knight of Coins under this Knight of Cups, I'm getting the sense that you are hard on yourself for being an emotional being. Which sucks because you probably take that pretty hard because you are emotional and sensitive. So you believe that you need to be more stable and grounded and reliable and slow down in order to be loved. And these are all things that are wrong with you, that you can't do this reliably. That is the belief I'm picking up on, that you need to be responsible in order to be loved. That's simply not true. Responsibility is great. It doesn't inherently give you value, though. So this will take a conversation with yourself, maybe a few times, to say, am I telling myself that that person was mean to me because I'm not reliable, because I'm not stable, and I deserve to be treated that way? Is that actually what I'm saying right now? And do I actually believe that? If I do believe that, is it actually true? The answer is no. Yeah, pile 3. I really feel like you need to have conversations with yourself about what you are telling yourself, because this is your chain keeping you here in this wheel. There may be commitments in the physical world, and I'm not telling you to break your commitments. I'm saying break your commitment to sacrificing yourself at every turn. That is the advice for you. All right, back to these. So 10 of Cups here. You feel like you need to put on this show, especially with the Magician. Put on this show of a happy family, a happy life. I'm happy. And that's what people love about you. That's what you feel you have to do in order to be loved. The truth is, we all have our down days. We all have trouble with commitments. We all lose sight of what we really want. And we're not all going to be a happy family all the time. You can get 10 of Cups for a moment. You can get a beautiful snapshot of a wonderful wedding or a family dinner or anything else. Those moments of achievement and celebration are mere moments. They are not an eternal play that you have to put on for everyone else. Reminds me of scrolling through social media and seeing all these perfectly polished pictures and all the beauty and the food and travel and family and graduation, just all these successes. But people are filtering those successes out to make the most beautiful shrine to themselves and their lives that they can. That's what you do with that space, but that's not reality. I hope that makes sense. With the Magician too, you feel like you have to do everything for everyone. That's the sense I'm getting. Like, if you are not making sure that things are running right and people are happy and everything's working, then it feels like you think you're not worthy of love. But hey, there's a lot more people in the world than just you. There's a lot more energy and power to be had than just your own. And if you keep going solo here, if you keep feeling like you're the one responsible to make sure everyone's happy and that things run smoothly, then you're gonna grind yourself down to nothing eventually. And then you'll feel bad because you'll have an outburst or you'll have a breakdown and you can't help anyone, or you say something you really would not have if you were in a more healthy situation, and you feel ashamed and you trap yourself back in that cycle. So that all feels very frustrating. And very tragic too, in a sense. It's this self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm going to work hard so I can earn love. Oh, I didn't impress everyone with all of my hard work. I guess I don't deserve love. I'm going to work hard to earn love. Oh, I guess I didn't impress everyone with my hard work. And it just keeps going. No amount of love that you share with other people is going to solve this. I think this has been the advice for every pile, but you need to share your love with yourself. Please. All right, let's take a look at the advice. I've already gotten into some, but let's see what the cards say. Wow! Oh, I love this card too. This is one of my favorites. Yes, this is what I'm saying. You need to have conversations with yourself. with those parts of yourself that are like, oh, that person was snappy with me. That must mean there's something wrong with me, that I did something wrong. I'm very much getting a fawn response vibe from this pile. If you don't know what a fawn response is, F-A-W-N, I would advise looking that up and learning about that, because it can be extremely confusing if you don't know that's what's happening. It may not apply to you, but I'm definitely getting that vibe, so it might be helpful for some of you. But the advice is to sit with yourself. Nobody else, just yourself. Sit with yourself and ask yourself, do I believe that I deserve love just for the sake of existing? And follow the feelings, because you're going to have feelings that are like, no, what are you kidding? And follow that feeling to its source. It'll take some time. It may not be that you sit down for 20 minutes and get this resolved like right away. You may not even have the attention span for 20 minutes. 5 minutes at a time. Start there then. Do I believe that I love myself? Do I have the capacity to love myself? And just investigate. Dig around. See what you find in there. Always, always treat everything you find with love. You're used to that. You know how to do that. Just see yourself, if you have to, as a different person. See yourself as your young versions of yourself. Innocent. Children have not done anything to deserve any bad thing that they've experienced, and yet they experience bad things. Have compassion for that child. Have compassion for the things that you find, that you think about yourself. Have compassion for the cruel things you say to yourself. Have compassion that you have been under so much judgment for so long. And keep digging. You're not looking for answers. You're not looking for why. Why do I do this? Who in my childhood made me feel this way, and I'm trying to resolve it by finding them in other people. You may have some idea of this, and honestly, it's not that important. What you really need to root out are those inclinations to sacrifice yourself, to hurt yourself for other people. You have to root out the lack of self-worth, the inferiority that you feel. Just like you weed a garden. Imagine that you're plucking these emotions from you, these feelings, these ideas, just pluck them out and throw them away into the core of the earth. Let them burn up in there. It would also help to get into nature. That's always nice. Get into nature, dig around in the dirt, see what you find in there. All right, second card. You're in great company. Aww. Yeah, pull back to propel forward. This is just doubling down. Y'all pile threes, you need to be alone with yourself. That might be uncomfortable at first. Put on some nice music, make it a thing. Get yourself some wine, get yourself some treats, whatever. Show yourself love. Show yourself love, and you will show up to this investigation, to this uprooting that you need to do. You are a beautiful soul, pile 3. You are beautiful. You have so much love. You have so much potential. It's time to see it and to show yourself that love. I think I've said that like 1,000 times, but I mean it. All right. Yes. Okay. Wow. So each of the piles had their little transformation moment. I love it. This is the Emperor Penguin. This is a bird that goes between land and sea, as you can see. But the really interesting thing about penguins is that their ancestors used to fly. they actually evolved to lose their wings. They biologically chose to lose their wings in favor of the rich resources that reside underwater. All those fish, so much protein. They could easily raise their young on the land because they gather in large flocks. They adjusted their behavior and their bodies to an environment that would serve them. This is really powerful for you, Pile 3. I think there's some really major advancements you can have just by adjusting your habits, your routines, the ways that you serve people, cutting that out, reducing the load on yourself, changing your lifestyle. This is fresh, this is different. Know though, this process of evolution took a long time. So focus on staying grounded and not overwhelming yourself with all of the things that you need to change. Focus on one at a time. Find your priorities. What hurts the most? What is causing you the most pain? Treat that. Treat that first. This could also, I will say, if there's anyone in a relationship or living with people who are not good for them, who are draining on their energy and taxing, and no matter how much you give, you just are not fulfilled by them. You're always criticized or judged, and you're trapped. You feel trapped. It may be time to find space away from those people, however you're able to do that. And I'm talking not just physical space. I'm talking about a mental and emotional space. It's time to gently start to remove them from your constant attention. Because I do feel with some of you Pile 3s that you can fixate. I got that with the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Cups. I feel like you can fixate on people and lose yourself, lose time and energy. You lose your life, your soul to other people's problems, other people's healing journeys. That's not for you to do. And you don't really get anywhere by thinking and feeling so much about other people. Because you're not them. You cannot jump into their bodies and do something to fix whatever's happening. You cannot do anything in the environment to change who they are on the inside. They have to do that. So, pulling yourself away from others, mentally and emotionally especially, watch your emotions and thoughts and sink into yourself with love. I hope that helps, Pile 3. I'm really rooting for you. I'm really rooting for you. And I hope you root for yourself too. I believe in you. And I believe that you can root all this junk out and not have to deal with the weight anymore. So that's it for now. Until next time, take care. Bye.